They're not even trying to hide it anymore. After Charlie Kirk's assassination, leftist extremists took to Bluesky to openly discuss who should be next. Not random anger, specific names. Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, J.K. Rowling. Libs of TikTok, Andy No. Screenshots show users asking who's next and naming targets. This is what 8 years of Hitler rhetoric gets you. A generation that thinks political murder is justified. Trump called it out. The radicals on the left are vicious, horrible, and politically savvy. He's demanding RICO charges against Soros and the machine funding this chaos. The pattern is clear, from rhetoric to violence, from protest to assassination. And they're just getting started, but they will not win. Keep on watching. And when political violence becomes normalized, everyone becomes a target. A 2025 survey found that over half of U.S. adults are concerned about how fast their skin is aging, and 40% fixate on random wrinkles or dark spots. If that sounds like you, well, you're not alone. More and more people are noticing visible changes in their skin far earlier than expected. That's why I use my secret weapon of anti-aging, and I'm obsessed with the changes I've noticed in my skin. It provides my skin with the 5 must-have types of premium collagen needed to help reduce wrinkles. Since I've started taking it, experienced smoother skin, more elasticity, fewer fine lines, and a more youthful glow. Plus, it mixes smoothly with my morning coffee with no taste or clumps. Be sure to grab a bag of Ageless Multi-Collagen now while it's 51% off only at Health with Gary, and help take some years off the clock. Plus, by ordering now, you will also get guaranteed free VIP life and health fitness coaching for life, a free ebook titled 14 Foods for Amazing Skin, and more. Once again, the website is healthwithgary.com. So, Nick Sortor posting this just 5 hours ago. Democrats are refusing to admit their violent rhetoric led to Charlie Kirk's killing. So here's a 2-minute compilation, 2 minutes, of Democrats calling Republicans fascists and encouraging violence. Watch every second of this, because Democrat violence must end.
3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" Catch!
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core.
Hey, let me shut down the city! We are at war!
We're at a war right now.
We are at war.
So you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
And that's why the gloves are off.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
And yes, there are many threats to democracy. We see it with these extreme candidates.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
You can only push people so far. And then they start to take matters into their own hands.
What the American public want is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight.
You know, this is literally call to arms.
The MAGA movement is a threat.
But Michelle says that, when they go low, we go high.
No. With all due respect, if they go low, we don't go high.
When they go low, we kick them.
We take them to the mud, choke them out.
And make sure that they stay down. And you know what? Kick them when they're down, because they deserve it.
Get up in the face of some Congress people.
We are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your...
We have to fight this in the streets.
We're going to fight it in the streets. It's time to step out of your comfort zone and step out into the streets.
To our Republican colleagues, if you do not see the light, we will bring the fire. Resist! You and your little friend off of Twitter. Y'all about to find out.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
He's not going to have a third term. He may not finish his term.
That's the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. Just saying. There will be news sometime. Just so you know, there will be news.
That is the rhetoric that has been burning into the left's mind. Cat Turd writes, LOL, someone needs a Snickers. Quote tweeting Dave Rubin, who writes, I've been trying to be as reconciliatory as possible, but it's hard when the people who call us all Nazis pretend they had nothing to do with any of this.
Response. Seems to me that everyone agrees that Donald Trump is not Hitler and his supporters are not Nazis. So with that in mind, I'd like to read some other headlines. These are video titles from Cenk's channel. And if in the spirit of reconciliation, maybe he wants to delete these things. Trump cuts anti-Nazi program. Trump spreading Nazi propaganda. Nazis encouraged by Trump's Charlottesville response. Trump defends Nazis, very fine people. That is the biggest political hoax ever. Trump retweets a neo-Nazi again. Trump disappoints neo-Nazi supporters. So these things don't come out of nowhere. I only blame one person at the end of the day for these murders, which is the crazy person who does the murders. But pretending that what is wildly asymmetrical, I think I have laid that out with evidence here, pretending that it's symmetrical is deeply, deeply dangerous. Piers, you know this because we've discussed it on my show. Even on your show, you have found it way more difficult to find rational, decent people on the left who will explain themselves thoughtfully and calmly and everything else, while the panoply of people you get on the right who shouldn't even be on the right, I would say certainly someone like me, I don't know exactly where Batya considers herself, but people with a variance of political opinions that now broadly are part of the MAGA thing is because of what I just read you, the endless hysteria of the left that has ginned up people to do crazy things. It's not to say you can't say the worst things. You want to say the worst things? Donald Trump's a Nazi. It's so tough to say. You want to say that? Go ahead and say it. It falls on the person who pulls the trigger. But if we're all sitting here saying, yeah, it's not true that Donald Trump's a Nazi and it's not true that his supporters are Nazis and he's not Hitler and all of those things, well, then before you get to reconciliation, a little bit of a mea culpa by some of us might be valuable.
Cenk?
Oh, man, he just roasted Cenk. Holy cow, reading out his headlines of his own videos. Holy cow, man. And you saw him there biting his lip going, oh, yeah, maybe I did contribute to the atmosphere of this hate rhetoric. Let's see how he responds.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. This is disgusting. So this guy pretending to do conciliation,
You're
and
right.
I was going to be conciliatory towards Dave if I spoke first. But apparently that's not what he's doing at all. So what he's trying to do is get people angry in a misleading way against me. Are you trying to get
those
people
your
to be
titles?
violent?
Are those
Wow. He's trying to deflect big time here. Oh, boy.
titles
This
of your
is
videos?
disgusting.
No.
So no.
that's-
Let me explain.
no.
Let me explain.
Those are your titles,
No, let
buddy.
me explain. You're asking me a goddamn question, so let me explain while you're trying to get people to do violence against me.
Oh, that's not what he's doing. That's not what he's doing, Cenk. He's calling you out for the violent rhetoric that you have continued to contribute to that created this atmosphere where it's okay, where people justify it in their minds that they can go and pull a trigger on somebody. He's calling you out, bro. All you got to do is say, yeah, you know what? Maybe I did write those things. Maybe I shouldn't have contributed to this atmosphere of hatred towards conservatives. But no, he can't do that. He can't humble himself and take responsibility. He has to deflect.
Disgusting. So those are 80% of those titles. I've never called Trump a Nazi, and those titles were about neo-Nazi reactions. So what do you want us to do? Not tell
So
you
very fine
what's
people.
actually
Did that
happening?
happen?
And
Did
so
Donald-
look,
Did Donald Trump side with neo-Nazis?
Yes, he
the
did
very
say
fine
that.
people incident in Charlottesville?
So as
he did it. Piers,
we've
how about you
explained
handle
on the
this one
Young
instead of
Turks,
giving it to me?
Wow.
Can
You
I
wanna
just
handle this
talk?
one?
So this monster
What did
is
Donald
trying to egg on violence
What did Donald
as we
Trump
speak,
say after very
and he
fine
won't
people?
even let
I'm
me
not
talk.
talking about the neo-Nazis or the white supremacists who should be condemned completely. It's
Wow.
the biggest debunked conspiracy theory of all time. You're still pushing that now? You're still pushing the very fine people hoax
listen,
now? I'm
what-
shocked even for you.
Dave, shut up and let me answer your stupid question.
Oh my
so
God.
on that day, which now we're going back to that for no goddamn reason other than you're trying to get people angry at me for misleading things. Didn't
I'm reading
Donald
your
Trump say there were
titles. You
very
should
fine
be angry
people
at your
on both sides?
titler.
He did. Shut up and let me answer. So did he say there are very fine people on both sides? He did. So that's a fact. Now, who was he referring to? As we've explained on the Young Turks, he might have been referring to the people who were in favor of the Confederacy and came out there to support Confederate generals. I didn't find that to be any better. Those people were in favor of slavery. Those people lynched black people. So I'm not going to ever cheerlead for them, and I'm not ever going to shut
Jake,
up
in the very next sentence, did he say, I'm not talking about the white supremacists
so
or
you're
the
not going to get me
neo-Nazis
to
who
shut
should be condemned
up,
totally.
and you are...
It seems to me that everyone...
Chunk. The rabbit hole riots here through though thought diversity is more a feature of the political right. Well, the political left only allows for a small set of viewpoints. There is more diversity of thought on the political right than on the political left. This appears to be a figure. I'm not going to digest that. Tyler Carditis was just with Charlie a few weeks ago at a Chicago Cubs game. He couldn't walk 5 steps without being mobbed by fans, young and old, including a few from the clubhouse, asking for photos and autographs. He was so gracious with each and every one of them. And the Chicago Cubs today, they did hold a moment of silence in honoring Charlie Kirk before the game.
To strengthen our nation, today we ask you to join us in a moment of reflection as we call for an end to all political violence. May all of us as Americans come together in solidarity to strengthen our nation, end these senseless acts, and turn to civil discourse to discuss our differences. On Wednesday, political activist Charlie Kirk, a lifelong Cubs fan and Chicago area native, was killed at a public gathering in Utah, leaving behind his wife and 2 young children. Please join us in a moment of reflection.
Beautiful moment there. Chicago Cubs holding that moment. We have this from Libs of TikTok. Charmeck School's board member, Melissa easily mocks and demonizes Charlie. This is a person in charge of your kids. Not even going to read it. Not even going to read it. You can pause it if you want to. I'm not even going to give this person any air. But that's just a portion of the hatred that still is outpouring. Jennifer posting this on X, urgent for your information. After Charlie Kirk on the Bluesky app, there are people asking for the next person to be targeted. J.K. Rowling, Matt Walsh, Trump, Ben Shapiro, Libs of TikTok, Elon Musk, and Andy No. And this is just some of the screenshots that they took. Unbelievable. That place is a cesspool of hatred. Here's President Trump talking about revenge.
Is the message to the right, the people that are going to go, I want revenge, not to have revenge? Charlie Kirk would not want revenge.
You want revenge at the voter
That's
box.
where to go.
But unfortunately, we don't have so many ballot boxes because they have mail-in voting, which is totally rigged.
Is the message...
Yeah. Ain't that true? Revenge at the ballot box. Here's President Trump talking about the radicals on the left.
Don't want to see the radicals on the right. Oftentimes are radical because they don't want to see crime. They don't want to see crime.
Worried about the border.
They're saying, we don't want these people coming in. We don't want you burning our shopping centers. We don't want you shooting our people in the middle of the street. The radicals on the left are the problem. And they're vicious and they're horrible and they're politically savvy. Although they want men and women sports, they want transgender for everyone, they want open borders.
President Trump's had enough. Here he is talking about George Soros.
But you know, they have professional agitators. Mm-hmm. They're professional. I had one the other night. I went into a restaurant and this woman stood up. I looked at her immediately. She had money. She wasn't. They get paid for it. They're professional from Soros and other people. And we're going to look into Soros because I think it's a RICO case against him and other people. Because this is more than like protests. This is real agitation. This is riots on the street. And we're going to look into that. But you know, they have professional...
RICO for Soros. Let's take a look here. 5 minutes of mainstream media and Democrat politicians calling Republicans like Charlie Kirk literally Hitler, existential threats to democracy and fascist dictators. I will spare you that. We did watch something like that earlier in this segment. But this is 11 hours ago. Representative Bob Odner goes off on left-wing extremism on the House floor.
Evil. They hate. Well, what for us? Well, everything has changed. If we didn't know it already, there is no longer any middle ground. Some of the American left are undoubtedly well-meaning people, but their ideology is pure evil. They hate the good, the truth, and the beautiful, and embrace the evil, the false, and the ugly. And they literally will kill those with whom they disagree, just as their predecessor, leftists Marx and Stalin and Lenin and Pol Pot and Fidel Castro did. We must know that. And, well, what for us? Well, everything has...
Everywhere. President Trump urges Americans to go forward.
Because they see what happened. What do you say to people who are saying they see the assassination attempts in your life? They see the Minnesota lawmakers. They see what happened. They see what happened to Charlie. And they're saying, what's going on with the political process? Now, instead of trying to get votes, you're trying to survive. There are lawmakers canceling their events this weekend. AOC on the left and a lot of lawmakers on the right saying, I'm a little concerned about doing a public event. As president, what do you tell them?
I say you have to go forward. You just have to go forward. You watch, as closely as you can. You have, I have great people. I mean, I have people now much better and far more. What do you say?
You have to go forward. Ford Fisher posting this 12 hours ago. January 6ers gathered at the White House Thursday where they held moments of silence for 9/11 and January 6th deaths and the murder of Charlie Kirk. A counter-protester yelled losers and criminals over the J6 and racists over Charlie Kirk's moment of silence.
People have died. People have died from 9/11. They have died from January 6th. And they have, Charlie Kirk died yesterday using his voice. So we are going to have a moment of silence. I'm going to break it up into 3 sections. And we will let you laugh because we've not been there. 9/11. Never forget. January 6th. Never forget.
Losers, criminals, insurrectionists, losers.
Charlie Kirk. Never forget.
Racist. Charlie Kirk was a racist.
Thank you. I'd like you guys to join us in a prayer, and we're going to do this prayer in a song. It's a prayer you all know.
People have no respect even for moments of silence. But that's the left for you. They have no soul. Jasmine Crockett insists that when she calls Trump wannabe Hitler, it's not necessarily saying go out and hurt somebody. That necessarily means she knows it's at least one reasonable interpretation. She said that on the Breakfast Club. Let's see what Michael Knowles is talking about here.
If you Google it, at virtually all the political violence is from the right. I looked it up. What did I know? I don't know. I don't read crime statistics all the time. Maybe that was true. So I looked it up. And if you Google it, if you ChatGPT it, it'll say, oh, yes, according to this study, according to that study, right-wingers are more likely to commit political violence than left-wingers. If you look at the incidence of political violence, more of them are from the right than the left. I said, that just doesn't sound accurate to me. Just doesn't sound accurate. I myself have been targeted with political violence over the years. And then I said, wait a second. Let me look that up. My town here, Nashville, there's been political violence. What was the most recent example? Was when a trans-identifying shooter gunned down little children in a Catholic school. A trans shooter, trans-identifying, goes into the symbol of traditional conservative culture, of an objective moral order, of the right. Don't forget the right, even the right and the left. The terms come from the left side of the National Assembly in the French Revolution, which was the atheists and the secularists, the right side coming from the Christians and the defenders of the regime. Goes in, fires multiple shots through a picture of Adam and Eve, stained glass, before gunning down these innocent kids in a church. Because of, if you read the manifesto, or any part of the manifesto, largely because of this gender ideology, which is a left-wing ideology. And I looked it up. Do you know that's not political violence? Come again? I looked it up. No. The police concluded this was not ideologically motivated. So the trans shooter gunning down little Catholic kids, little Protestant kids. It was a Presbyterian school, I think. Because of that, they say, no, it was the person was seeking attention. It wasn't ideological. There's a manifesto. What do you mean it's not ideological? No, it doesn't count. Then I said, what about in my own experience? I was at University of Pittsburgh 2 years ago, and I was doing a talk. It was a debate over transgenderism, and 2 Antifa agents showed up, and they burned me in effigy on the street when I got there. And then 2 Antifa agents showed up, threw an explosive at the building right as I was walking on stage. Happily, I was not injured. A police officer was very seriously injured. A female cop was very seriously injured. This couple were hardcore anarchists, Antifa operatives, who would go to Antifa meetings, who were caught going through TSA with explosive material on them multiple times. I looked that up. Do you know that's not left-wing political violence?
Wow.
No, they pled down. They got an obstruction of justice charge, one of them. So it's obstruction of justice, not... Do you know how people like Seth Moulton arrive at the conclusion that there's more right-wing political violence than left-wing political violence? They don't count the left-wing political violence. That's how. That's
pretty simple. But it's all going to come to an end now because we are all Charlie Kirk now. And we're exposing it every single day here. Pray, pray, pray. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. This is how civil wars start. Not with armies, but with words that become bullets. 8 years of calling conservatives Hitler and fascists created this moment. Jennifer risked everything to expose those Bluesky screenshots because she knew if we don't stop this now, more bodies will drop. And Trump was right to target Soros with RICO charges. This is not protest. It's organized incitement to murder. They celebrated Charlie's death while simultaneously planning who dies next. That's not politics. That's terrorism. And while big tech censors us for exposing it, they let the death wishers run wild. The media created this monster, fed it daily doses of hate, and acts shocked when it kills. So here's my question. Should platforms that allow users to openly discuss political assassination targets, should they face criminal charges? Yes or no? Drop your answer below and show them that you will not be intimidated. Grab some Next News gear from our shop because we are not backing down.